Welcome to the show. I'm Clyde Sharady, and this is the news and humor section of African Knowledge platform. We thank you very much for the time you take to watch our videos. And tonight, I will bring my regular guest on this section, who is none other than Vincent Tshaka. Vincent, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm just tired. I'm really tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long
Being
day. I
long
had
day,
a
lockdown in your
long
house.
day,
And
lockdown. It's a lot of L's going around in there.
yeah,
Yeah, I had a call from my parents at 4 o'clock in the morning. And as you know, African parents, they ask you what time, but they don't let you go back to sleep.
and you can't tell them to hang up.
No, you can't tell an African parent to do anything. I don't care if you're 50, I don't care if you're 60. When your parent calls you, you're still like a 2-year-old baby. Why do we do that, Sharady? Why do we do that?
I suppose that's just the way things are. You can't tell your parents, hang up, I have to sleep.
No,
This
no,
is
no, no, no. It's like, the thing is, it's like we have been taught to respect our parents so much,
mm,
and we have taken that uh, with us for the rest of our lives.
mm-hmm.
And I know, like my mom right now, she can still scold me, and I've got my own family, but she can tell me stuff, and I'll just keep quiet, like a 5-year-old naughty kid. I'll be like, okay, mom." But in the back of my mind, if someone else told me that, I'll be get the hell out of my face. I don't know why we do it.
You cannot argue with African parents, can you?
No, no, you cannot. You cannot. So one thing that I don't know. I don't know if we should break that cycle. And it's very frustrating because when you have children over here and they grow up here and they act like children, which is they have an opinion and they can talk back to you and they can say stuff. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for people like me, and I'm assuming a lot of parents who come from a you know cul- uh, cultural background where you would have used the stick a lot of times because that's what my parents would have done, you
Mm.
know. But yeah,
All
but it's
right.
been a good day. It's been a good day. How's your day been? Still there?
Okay, sorry, there was a little bit of a glitch there, but we're back online. Don't know what's
Sure.
up with technology. Now, let's go into the news. Uh, we have had a few things that have happened over the last week, and the first one, let's go with, I suppose, R. Kelly's uh, arrest. No, no, not arrest, but
After
condemnation.
5 weeks of testimony from more than 45 witnesses,
Just
R. Kelly was found guilty in court on Monday. That's one of R. Kelly's attorneys after a federal jury in Brooklyn handed out the guilty verdict.
To the victims in this case, your voices were heard and justice was finally served.
Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly, the singer faced one count of racketeering, a violation of the Mann Act, a federal law that prohibits sex trafficking. The charges
okay.
date back decades and involve 6 complaining witnesses. Since first
All right. The video is not giving us all
Yeah.
the full picture, but we know
Wow.
that R. Kelly has been found guilty and condemned
Yes.
for 20 years, isn't it?
Yep. And I don't know what to say about this. Like uh, this man produced some good music, but he was found guilty of sex offenses, racketeering, as we heard on the video, and now he's going to go to jail. He belongs in jail. He belongs in jail with other criminals, pedophiles, and all that. But what I'm the thing that I'm thinking about now is, what are people going to make babies to? What kind of music are people going to make babies to? Because R. Kelly was a baby making music machine. He
Mm.
produced hits like Ignition, I Can't Sleep, Baby. If I could turn if I could turn back the hands of time. He had songs like Your Body's Calling, and he's done some great music. And I know there is a hashtag Mute R. Kelly movement out there because of crimes that he has done. But I'm like, I mean, I can separate the man from his music. All right, he did some good music, good baby making music. That's what I call it. Now the thing about this scenario, the whole of R. Kelly story, basically it comes about from he married Aaliyah when she was 15, and then he had all these young girls that he used to go out with him on his entourage, the question comes along is, where were the parents? Where were the parents of these girls? Because they basically handed them to R. Kelly, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming the girls. They were victims in this scenario. But at the end of the day, they knew he was a dodgy person, marrying Aaliyah at 15, like I said, but they still allowed their daughters to go have sleepovers at R. Kelly's house. That is not what I call responsible parenting. They missed the mark in that area. And the one thing I look between R. Kelly and Britney Spears' parents is when parents get desperate, pain. They would try, and they always make horrible decisions, basically. And when usually parents get desperate, normal parents would go get an extra job, and not look for a celebrity who pees on their children, because that's what he used to do. And that's one of the cases he had to go for, peeing on people. The thing is, all the parents kind of trained their children to be potty trained, and then they brought their children to R. Kelly, who was not very well potty trained and used to pee on them. And I don't know what rules people need to follow in that scenario. It's a sad case, but justice is done for these girls. I'm just sad for us, because we're not going to listen to some good music for the next 20 years or so.
Well, is it surprising to you that he did this apparently for so many years and nothing was done until recently?
It's all about power and fame. It's all about power and fame. R. Kelly had a lot of good, strong people in his pocket. He had the mayors, he had a very good PR marketing team, lawyers team. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the parents who are desperate for fame for their children, because most of these parents, or if you watch the documentary, a lot of these ladies went to R. Kelly because they were promised that he would promote them to become musicians. So you know what I mean? So
he was offering something that was quite attractive, and people didn't want to make any noise about everything else that was happening.
Exactly. And never trust anybody who tells you that they can make you a star if you're not going to put in the work yourself. So, this is a lesson. This is a lesson for people to learn.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go to let's come back to Australia, where Gladys eventually now is not eventually. He's gone. He's resigned. So he's out of the picture. What does that bring to your mind?
Wow. I know this one has been said a lot, but that was a glad rap. And I know that one has been used a lot on the internet, but I couldn't resist saying it. So Gladys has resigned because she has a case to answer by the ICAC, which is the Independent Commission Against Corruption in Australia. And she was accused last year that she had set about 5.5 million Australian dollars for a Clay Target Association clubhouse, And when I read that story, I was like, why didn't they just build the whole clubhouse out of clay? We do it in Africa. It would have saved them a lot of money. It wouldn't have costed them $5.5 million for that. And I think they should go to Africa and look at all the clay houses and mud houses that we bring, and they can take that technology and say it is new technology, and they can use that to renovate it over here. It would have been much more cheaper than that. So that's one of the cases that she had to answer. The second case that she has to answer is about her then boyfriend, Daryl Maguire, who apparently asked for $20 million to, for a project about the music conservatorium in his electorate. All right. So they spent $20 million, she was kind of putting aside $20 million for that project. And I don't see where that is corruption, because at the end of the day, if that money did go into that project, then they did something meaningful for the community. That should not be something that they call corruption, And can I just say, as she used to famously say, can I just say, like what
you
Gladys
can say
did, can I just say what Gladys did is what are called relationship goals. All right, that is a relationship goal. Look, I cannot date a person who is not going to add value in my life. If you're dating someone, they need to add value in your life. So she was adding value to her boyfriend's life. Look at African politicians. Mugabe gave his girlfriend the job. She became first lady, and she was the secretary. So Mugabe's wife was his secretary. I think that was it about 50 years age gap difference.
Yeah,
and she became the first lady. That's a relationship goal. That's what you did. In Australia, Barnaby Joyce did the same, but that's a different story. That's a whole different story. Look, what Gladys did is what in Africa we call connection. And when people talk of connection in Africa, connection is more important than a Harvard degree. When you have connection in Africa, you are more connected than someone who's going to have a degree, because in Africa, you will hear people say things like, I know people who know people. That is a saying that we have in Africa. I know people who know people. I have the connection. That means they know big people who can do things for them. And Australia, what is Australia talking about? Corruption. Gladys did what every girlfriend was supposed to do. She was supportive, and men do it too. Men do it too. In 2017, the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, appointed his wife to become the first vice president of the country. That is connection. She is the first lady and the vice president. Now that woman is a woman who knows people, and she's very well connected, And I don't, well, that is connection. That's what I call, right?
It is connection, man.
That is connection. And that you can't even beat that. I don't know what Gladys would ever do to beat the president of Azerbaijan, because that is a whole different scenario, right? Now, the other thing about Gladys as well is she dated Daryl Maguire, but I don't know. I don't know what was going on through her mind at that time. Like, she looked at Daryl Maguire and went like, yep, this is the man that's going to be my boyfriend. Like, that guy just looks suspect. All right. He's called Daryl, for God's sake. Who dates anyone called Daryl? I know a lot of Daryls, and most Daryls are dicks. Okay. I actually know one Daryl who's a magician, and that's the only Daryl who's cool. The other ones are not people that you can trust. Daryl Maguire is the kind of person, when I meet at a camping ground, I leave, and I don't even go camping. So if I saw him driving to Geelong, if I saw him driving to Geelong and I was going to Geelong, I'll be like, no, I'm going back to Melbourne. I can't be in the same place like that guy. That's the kind of white man who I would tell my kids, if he tells you he's got candy, run. Run to a neighbor's house. He cannot be trusted, man. And Australia doesn't know corruption. Australia doesn't know corruption. I'm going to end on this, right? Australia is talking about corruption, about what Gladys did as corruption. you don't know anything about corruption. You, like, white people have been corrupt the whole time. They came to Africa, they came with, writings, and they told our kings to just put an X, and they stole our land.
That's right.
And then they left. But now African people, they came with like undergraduate studies of corruption. We have surpassed them. We're
PhD now. We
have
PhDs.
PhDs in corruption. And this happened like in 2008. The then Minister of Finance in Kenya, he presented the national budget, and in the supplementary budget, there was an extra $120 million on it. All right. So when he was questioned by Parliament, what that $120 million was for in the budget, his reply was that was a typing error.
Whoa.
Yes, that was his reply. $120 million was a typing error. Now that person needs to be fired from that job. I don't know if they still had a job, because
that's one hell of a typing error.
You're not exactly. You're not talking about $120. It was $120 plus 6 zeros after that. Do you know how much mistake you need to do to type 6 more zeros on top of that? That is one hell of an error. And the thing, after 5 years of that man being the finance minister with $120 million surplus in the budget, we elected him as president. Now that is what you call corruption in Australia. So chill the fuck out. Let Gladys relax, man. She's done a good job. She's doing well. Now, I can't stress enough, like she would say, that the ICSE as well should have waited a little bit longer. On a serious note, they should have waited a little bit longer.
I think so. In the midst of this whole COVID storm,
exactly,
they should have waited a little bit, but
to get Sydney and New South Wales out of the COVID situation, and then they would have proceeded with the case. They brought this case about 1 year ago. They've waited 1 year. They could have waited another couple of weeks for Sydney to get to where they need to get to on a health level, and then proceeded with their case.
Well, so funny, especially also when you remember that I think is it Barry or what's the name of the previous New South Wales minister who actually has to premier were to resign because of a bottle of a wine, and I'm saying,
exactly.
You guys don't know.
Exactly.
You guys don't know what corruption is. Bottle of wine.
What are you talking about? Bottles of wine is like you go to Kenya and people like the vice president of Kenya, he stole a whole primary school. Do you know how hard it is to steal a whole primary school? And build a hotel on top of it. That is corruption. These things where it's a bottle of wine, it's like, was it Julia Bishop when she took that helicopter and it was just about $5,000, and people were complaining that she spent $5,000 of taxpayers' money. I know a lot of friends who are politicians, and they're like, "Oh, she took $5,000, like the helicopter ride was $5,000. Did she keep the helicopter? Did she keep the helicopter? Because if you're getting fired, you're taking stuff with you."
All right, that's good. Now let's go to the next story, which is related to Britney Spears. What happened with? Actually, not this one.
As you're looking for the video, basically everyone knows the story of Britney. She's been under conservatorship with her dad, for the last 13 years, and
will be formally removed as conservator of her $80 million.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can play the video, and then we'll continue after that.
All right, let's get the video happening.
Yeah.
After 13 years, an end to a toxic relationship.
Jamie Spears is no longer a conservator.
Britney Spears' father suspended to be formally removed shortly.
Amazing. amazing. We're so happy to hear this news, obviously.
This is a dream come true.
Since 2008, Jamie Spears had controlled his daughter's career and finances. In court today, his lawyer argued the conservatorship be terminated immediately, hoping to avoid an inquiry into new allegations, accusing him of monitoring the pop star's text messages and planting an audio device in her home to capture private conversations.
We're going to continue our investigation.
Judge Penny today ruling the current situation is not tenable.
Britney Spears may not have been in court today, but her fans were out in force, and many of them so relieved that she's no longer under her father's control.
She deserves so much. She deserves the best. She deserves to be freed.
Honestly, Jamie's day of reckoning has come.
The always colourful Free Britney movement shutting down a major street in downtown LA.
I'm just here to support her always.
Should you be in class right now?
Yes.
An accountant of the singer's choosing will step in temporarily. The case will return to court in November to determine if the guardianship should end.
Okay.
Wow.
That's courtesy of Channel 9. We have to acknowledge the source of the video. Go ahead. So I could see this person even crying. What's going on?
Right? What the hell is that? You know, that is very mind blowing for me to see things like that, because you know, her father, yes, controlled her for the last 13 years, and she was not able to make any decision for her life, you know. Okay, so her father was able to make every decision for life, where she would perform, what she would dress, how much money she would get. And in fact, out of this story, we also realized that the dad was also bagging her room and reading her mail or something like that. All right. Now, the thing about this is, even in lockdown, Britney Spears has been in lockdown for 13 years. And she still has generated millions of dollars in that time. I think she should be elected the Prime Minister of New South Wales. Like, with all these lockdowns, she can put some economy into that. You know,
she's got the experience.
She's got the experience of not working but still making money. You know, it's she is highly intelligent, and I know a lot of intelligent people who cannot even make lunch money. So, you know, but look, Clyde, you have kids, right? I have kids, and the thing about that is, as you know, kids are very expensive. You know, in Australia, for example, it would cost you about $700,000 to raise a kid from 0 to 18, you know? So even if I was, like, say, my daughter was famous, I want my money back on investment, because that's what I've done for 18 years. I want a little bit of money back, you know? The one thing about this movement is it has brought to light, you know, how celebrities are treated, and people are coming out crying, like we saw in the video. She is not a political prisoner, you know. It's not like Mandela was coming out of prison. It's just Britney, and all these people are sitting there, they're crying and everything, and they'll go back home to their homes, and they'll be broke, while Britney is coming out of this conservatorship with $80 million. That's like me winning the lotto without buying the ticket. That's just how it is. And
how is that possible?
It's not possible, you know.
Yeah.
But the shocking thing is this: if we get a little bit serious, the shocking thing is this: is as a society, I think we have lost our way. All right, we have put so much emphasis on reality TV, on celebrities, and this has just been, and it's ruining our own communities, and it's ruining our kids. We know so much about celebrities because of social media and the internet and stuff. Like, these kids who are crying over there, they know more about Britney Spears than they know about the diamond conflict in Congo. They probably know more about other celebrities, you know, R. Kelly or the Jonas Brothers, than who Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is. You know, they don't know who that is. They probably don't know, and that was You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
the first woman president of Africa. That should be an historic thing. That's what you should know. They probably
Yes.
know more about Kim Kardashian than Kofi Annan, who was the first African UN Secretary General. You know,
Yes.
so I think we need to start educating our kids and putting importance in what is putting importance into more historical things than celebrities. We had celebrities when we were growing up, but to us, celebrities were like so much far off. There were people we never imagined that we would ever meet or knew a life about, and we went ahead with our own lives. We did our own things. We just, you know, continued with life. I think we need to change that thing.
We do need to change because you know, we can have better things to do than crying over Britney Spears, you know,
100%.
winning a case. Anyway, there are people who may say, well, you know, if it doesn't matter for you, maybe it matters for others. Anyway, that's another discussion for another day. Let's go. Let's go to the next story. All right, which is in Guinea.
I, Mamadi Doumbouya, President of the Transition, swear before the people of Guinea that I will loyally preserve national sovereignty.
La souveraineté nationale.
Okay. Now, this guy did a coup recently. Now he's being sworn as the president. What do you think?
I don't know. Look, African people as well is we need to get our priorities correct. Okay, we need to get our priorities correct. So Guinea has been it got its independence in 1958, but it was a colony of France from 1891. All right. So the thing about coups, and we're talking, I think it's the third coup in Western Africa, because there was a coup in Mali as well, and there was a coup in another country, and
there was an attempted coup as well in Sudan that failed.
In Sudan, right? So we're having all these coups that are happening, and I'll tell you one thing: this is absolutely true. These coups are caused by Western countries. Mali has got a lot of economic resources, and so has Sudan with oil, and Chad, you know, and Ghana and gold and all that stuff. Yes, corruption does exist, but this guy makes a coup. He comes up and he's being sworn as a president. He's dressing in sunnies and shades as if he's a gangster. Like, what are you doing as a president? That I wouldn't trust that guy for one bit.
I think I think he's probably the first president who has been sworn in with his sunnies. I don't know if there's been any others in history. I don't know. Maybe. No.
And his hat as well, because like when you're being sworn in as a president, you're trying to obey the Constitution. And he's just like I don't know. For me, he looked like a gangster who walked into this place. And as you can see, the whole assembly, if you watch the whole of that video, the whole assembly is actually just filled with men.
Yeah.
And the kicker, what we're talking about there when we're saying like it has to be led by the Western country, his wife is white.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying white people are bad. White people, relax if you're watching the show. I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying there is more to this story than what is just being shown. And I think when the coup first happened, they also said, I think the women of Guinea had decided to stop having sex with their husbands to have sex with the soldiers to celebrate the coup.
No, I think they were just giving the soldiers a kiss, my friend. Maybe.
I did see a story that they were saying that we should stop sleeping with our husbands and sleep with the soldiers because they liberated us. And I'm like, that is just the way we're moving backward. This should not be a celebration. I think we need to get out of that aspect of taking things by force, especially in African nations. If you have a complaint, go to court. Let's have systems and make sure that we can address them in court in a legal way, in a peaceful way, and instead of what happened.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to make
Okay, we're having, I don't know why this video is coming back on my screen.
Gladys doesn't want to go, man.
Gladys doesn't want to go. That's why. That's why he doesn't want to go. Sorry, Gladys. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to go because we have to go, so you can't come on our screen anymore. Anyway, so that's sort of something in Africa that is coming back again. I hope that these coups will stop here because we're just starting to see too many of them, and this one is definitely supported, I'm sure, by the French colonialists, because this guy was in France for many years, and then he came. But the only funny thing, and probably the last before we finish, was that many people in Guinea, though, appear to support this because many of them were against Alpha Conde, who was there and who sort of overstayed, and he managed to change the constitution to give himself an extra term, which wasn't actually allowed into the constitution. So it's sort of a quagmire where, yes, we don't like coups, but that's what the people want, apparently.
But look, it's the same thing they did to Gaddafi. Let's just be honest here, okay? When the West is involved,
it's never for Africa.
And they destabilize the country, they will take whatever they take, and then they will move on. So Gaddafi, when Gaddafi was killed, a lot of Libyans were happy about that. But where are they now? Where is their country now? So sometimes, look, I understand in the world, we do have problems, but it is time where, as African nations, we need to solve our own problems than being told that so-and-so is a bad leader. Sometimes, if we have a bad leader, but still having a stable government, we can look for better ways of dealing with that than collapsing government and then not having a way to kind of move forward. Because now, Guinea is not necessarily a very rich country, but now they have gone like 10 steps back instead of, they could have waited. What is one more term? He could have done his 5 years and then gone to an election. Now, if it happens that he extended again, maybe, but it's the same thing like with these lockdowns we had in Victoria. Dan Andrew said 7 days, and then people go and protest, the numbers goes high, then we are extended to things that should not have happened in the first place.
Well, I don't trust Daniel Andrews, man. Even if there was no protest, he would extend again because he just loves that,
Dan Andrews is doing a great job. I'm a 100% Dan Andrews supporter. I think he's doing the best he can.
That's okay.
But I'm tired. I'll give him a call tonight. I'll tell him we need to kind of end this lockdown early because this is getting too cumbersome now.
Oh, I guess that's all good because you for Daniel Andrews and I'm not, and we're all tired. So let's end this bloody.
I'll give him a call. You know what? I've got people who know people, so I'll let my people. I'll let my people call his people, and we'll get this done soon as possible.
All right, folks, that's all we've got for you tonight. Vincent Tshaka, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to look at what has happened in the world, here in Australia, in America, in Africa, and have a bit of a laugh in the process. So we appreciate your time, and we hope we will see you again next Monday, same time, for another edition of News and Humor with Vincent Tshaka.
No worries, Gladys over.
Gladys is gone.
Gladys over. Yeah, it's done. And thank you for having me, and we'll see you next week.
No worries. Cheers. All right.
Have a good night.
For all of you watching, as usual, keep liking our videos, share them, and if you have something that you want to share with the community, contact us. We may give you the opportunity to do so through our platform. Until next time, stay blessed. Thank you very much.